Welcome, everyone, to Passionately Speaking, our weekly call where we talk about public speaking and how we can even be better at it. And tonight is all about influence, and it's all about the art of fluent speaking, eliminate filler words, and speak with confidence and influence. You see, we cannot influence people, we cannot show our confidence if we're constantly using filler words as we give our speech. Now, first of all, before we can get rid of something, we have to understand why it's there and what its purpose is and how, just why we use it and why we go there. Mainly, filler words are often called thinking sounds. Thinking sounds. Write that down because we fill a spot in our speech when we're trying to remember or think about what next to say. So either we've memorized the speech too much and we're trying to remember it, or we are just kind of ad-libbing and we don't know what's coming next and we have to think of it. Either way, it's wrong. Because when you use filler words, it shows the opposite of what you're trying to do, and that's have that confidence and influence. It actually shows that you're not prepared. It shows that you're not ready, that you're not really a professional speaker. Have you ever heard a singer sing a song and they're singing and then they go, uh, not professional singers anyway, maybe a few beginners and amateurs, but normally no. And even the amateurs that forget the words, they don't fill it with another word. They what? They stop. And it's what we call the pause. It's better to pause than it is to fill a space. We're going to talk about pausing in a minute, but let's just be clear on what is meant by filler words. We know that typical filler words are ah, but tell me, let's go around. You tell me a filler word that you've either heard or maybe you've been guilty of using. Jackie, do you have a filler word that maybe you've used?
I'm trying to think of one, but I'm not coming up with one. Come back to me. I will.
Okay. Okay. Renee, have you used a filler word or heard somebody else use one?
Yes, I have heard other people use filler words at times. I
Give
see
me
I
a filler word. Give
that
me,
I've heard and uh, you know, many
No.
times.
okay.
Like
Tanya,
15, 20 times in
Tanya,
a 10
have
minute
you heard
speech.
of a filler word?
Uh, uh,
And what is
there's my answer. Um, you know, yeah, those are filled.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. Randall.
Yeah, I've heard a lot, and that
Mhm.
it's really yucky. Um, what do I do? I don't know. I kind of have a silence and shift around, I think. So it makes me, I think I look uncomfortable.
Okay. Okay. Katrina, filler word that you've heard?
Is the one I use a lot, and but the most annoying one is when the speaker keeps saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen."
That could be very annoying. Well,
Mhm.
one of the, I just did. We're going to do it every once in a while. Just don't do it all the time and don't do it in a prepared speech. One time, um, yeah, one time I listened to a speaker and I wrote down a tick mark for every time he said, you know. And I didn't say anything to him, but I just had a little tick mark in front of me. And he came over and was talking about his speech. And then he asked me what that was. And I said, do you really want to know? And he said, yeah. And I said, that's how many times you said, you know. It was 188 times in a 30-minute speech.
Oh, no.
Yes. That's how, if we don't get it under control, it gets away from us. Now, who remembers my filler word that I used when I first started speaking? Remember my story, Dr. Love? Do you remember?
It was the word you used was I think it was
No,
and
it was okay.
oh, that's
Remember,
right. Okay, yeah,
a
a
woman
lot.
came up to
When
me,
you were working corporate, it was okay.
you
Yes,
say okay after every sentence.
yes,
Okay? Like, are you listening? Is it okay?
yes.
That kind of thing. And I was unaware of it until someone told me that I was doing it. That's how filler words work. Most people that are on stage doing it have not been told, they've not become aware, they have not had any formal training. So it's always a good idea if you maybe perhaps take them aside, ask if they're open to some feedback, not criticism, not critique, but feedback, because that can be either good or that can be bad. And then if they are, then you can kindly, politely tell them away from anybody else. But let's look at some other filler words because those are not, that's just like five maybe that are out there. So we said and but what about the word like? Isn't that one that, oh boy, that one, a lot of younger people say it like this, like that, like, could drive you crazy. Basically, the word basically, we've heard that used over and over again. The word so, and look at that in writing too, because a lot of people, right, Randall? A lot of people will say so before every sentence. Look at your own emails, look at your own writing. Are you saying so all the time? I know I've said so for, a while. That, and I just said, but all of that makes you aware when you start being aware of filler words, not only in your own use, but in your writing. Actually, good one. Actually. Just like okay, like I said, okay. Another one is right, right, right. I mean is another one. I mean this, I mean. Now, my sister-in-law, she wasn't she's not a public speaker, but when she talked, and these filler words can be used in everyday language, and of course they can drive somebody nuts. But she used to always say, and that, and that, and that, after every single word, and that, and it would drive you crazy. So make sure that you are aware of any filler words that you might be using and get rid of them. And if you use them occasionally in regular conversation because you are thinking, that's fine. But if it's a habit, like my sister-in-law, and that, and that, and that, then what it does is it can translate into, you're not going to like this, but it's going to translate into a person that is not highly educated. Does that make sense? I mean, it just does. We think, and we've heard a lot of people use not so nice words as every other adjective. Well, to me, it's like, what? Are they gang members? Are they uneducated? So we just want to be very, very careful that the persona of what we're trying to portray, if it's confidence in every level of your life, we want to make sure that our words portray that. Yes, Jackie.
I have trouble on podcasts with because I am thinking and I've been hit with something that I wasn't quite ready for.
All right, that can happen. Instead of the just pause. The power of the pause. Be aware of it. Now that you're aware of it, you can tell yourself instead of an or an ah when I'm thinking, and it's perfectly okay to do that if you're thinking. I'm gonna put a powerful pause in there. So let's talk about the pause. Now remember, our goal here is not perfection. We're not going to be perfect. Our goal is intentional speech or intentional speaking. We want to be intentional as much as we can because we're going to say and ooh and ah. We just don't want to say it after every sentence. That's when it starts getting irritating. That's when the listener starts only hearing the ums or whatever it is that we're saying over and over and over and again. So occasional occasional filler word is okay, even in a prepared speech. All right, so number two, the most powerful thing you could do is replace those filler words with the most powerful tool, which is I'd said it earlier, pause.
Pause.
Thank you, which is the pause. So that's how we can solve this problem. Now, so when we think of the pause, I don't want you to think of the pause as like some empty space in your speech or empty space in your podcast. The pause, it means authority. Remember last week or the week before, we said when you pause, people go, huh? They listen. They tend to listen. We can use that pause any way we like to get people to listen, to grab their attention, to give us time. If anybody ever asks you a question on a podcast or even on stage, just pause. Repeat the question. Remember that old method of repeating the question? Well, guess what? It's powerful because it gives you the opportunity in your mind, the opportunity to think. Because someone asks you the question, what color is your hair? And you're like, you asked me too fast. But if you say, well, the color of my hair is, and boom, the answer will come. Try it next time you're on a podcast. Try it next time someone is doing a Q&A with you that you're not prepared for. Repeat the question always. Or just say, that's a great question. That too will give you time for your brain to engage. It's an old technique, but it works. It works. It works. And you don't have to have AI. It just works. The brain is your AI, right? I guess it's not artificial intelligence. I guess that's the real intelligence. It's your RI, you know. Just give your brain a little chance to develop it. So remember, the audiences don't hear that pause as a mistake or a delay. They hear it as authority and confidence and influence. And that's how you want to use it. Stand tall and just pause and let yourself think. Let yourself be. Hi, Dr. Luana. How you doing today? Good to see you. All right, number 3. All right, so number 2, remember, was the pause. Number 1's filler words, 2 is pause, and 3 is think. Here's another method that you can eliminate the fillers, and that is think about your speech or your questions or answers, depending on the podcast or whatever. Think of it in blocks, and we've learned this in my speaker system. We do blocks, right? There's 3 blocks. There's the top of the sandwich, and then the bottom of the sandwich are the close. Those are like blocks. Now, the problem with people that write out their speech word for word is that there's no block, right? It's, just run on continuous. There's no mayonnaise. Now, my superstar students, what is the mayonnaise that I'm referring to, or the dressing? We have the top of the sandwich, we have another step, we have the inside, the meat, and then we have the close. What is the dressing? Do you remember? The dressing is the problem, pain, and suffering, and the solution, right? Remember, problem, pain, and suffering, PPS. Problem, pain, suffering, and solution. That's the mayonnaise. You got to get them ready to eat the bread or the meat will be dry. So we put a little mayo on there, a little dressing, and now we can eat the sandwich. So they're blocks. So there's like 4 blocks. And so when you do it in blocks, right, you speak and you finish the block, the complete idea. At the end of block 1 is what? Who can remember? The end of the first section, I'm calling blocks today. I've never called them blocks. I call them bread, right? But what's at the end of the first piece of bread? The last step.
The end of your professional story and your core speech.
Yes. Bravo, Jackie. Yes, it's your story. And then the next step, starting the next little block is, we talked about it just a second ago, your PPS.
Problem, pain, and suffering.
Correct. Correct. All right. Good. All right. So now let's talk about within these blocks, let's talk about a 3-point thought method, a 3-point thought method. Now, this is what I teach for my meet, right? This is what I teach for my meet. The first thing when you have, let's say it's an acronym. Let's say it's my acronym LEADS. So now LEADS stands for, the L stands for leverage, right? So what do we do? What do I say we do? What do? We state the idea, leverage. The L stands for leverage. And then the next thing I teach you to do is what? Who can remember? I know this is real detailed and you probably don't have your notes, but if you can remember, it's define or explain what you mean. See, when we say L is leverage, that could mean many things to many people. So I have to say what I mean by it. What I mean right here today in this acronym, in this speech. The L is for leverage, speaking and leveraging your time, speaking in front of multiple people, right? One to many. So I have to, I have to explain it. If your L is for love, what do you mean? Love between a man and a woman, love for a child, love for a parent, love for a dog. It's different loves. Love for God. Explain it or define it. Sometimes we have to actually give a definition of something that we're saying. You know, legacy. What do you mean by legacy? Is it the dictionary definition or is it your own definition, which is perfectly okay? Just tell the audience. What does it mean for you? All right. So remember, first step in the 3-point thought method, the first step is to state your main idea, which mine is leverage. Define it or explain it, right? As you might have to do one or the other. And then number 3 is give an example or a story. You have to support the principle with a story, example, antidote, whatever it is. I've said this a million times, right? A little story. It could be a testimonial story to support it, right? Something, a little something. It could be a quote. This is where you can use quotes. Tony Robbins says, good isn't good enough. You must be outstanding. Whatever it might be for you. It could be a Bible verse. Just keep it short, though. It's just to support it. You don't want to go on to a whole nother topic. It's just to support your main idea. Got it? Of whatever your acronym is, or whatever if you're doing steps, 1, 2, 3, whatever those steps are in your meet. Everybody got that, right? All right, great. Okay, when you do this, ladies, this will keep your brain ahead of your mouth so that you're not tripping on what you're trying to say. Yes, Randall? Or is your hand up? Oh, okay. Just kind of stretching there. Okay. So it keeps your head above your mouth when it's prepared and you're ready to go. Because remember in our steps, 1, 2, 3, or our acronym, we're not memorizing those. Remember that. That is your knowledge that you're sharing. You look at it, you see L for leads, and you know exactly what to say. So it leaves room sometimes for some of this ums and filler words to get in there as we think. The more you practice and rehearse, the less they'll be there. I know a well-rehearsed speaker when I see it. Because it doesn't have to be memorized to have the filler words disappear. It just has to be practiced and rehearsed. It's really powerful. Now, number 4. So that's your meat. That's that block, right? We got it in blocks, and that's the block. Now, number 4, this might be a surprise, but we can get rid of the filler words by slowing down our speech a little bit. Just slow down the speed to up your impact. Slow down the speed to up the impact. It might sound a little counterintuitive, but that's exactly what we do in the fitness world. It's called time on tension. Time on tension. The slower we go when we lift, the more impact it has, the more our muscles grow. If we just go like this, it's not going to do anything. And I see people at the gym, not my gym, my personal gym, but when I go to Planet Fitness, which I always do on Tuesdays, I tell you, I see these girls are going like this with like 5 pounds, and it's not going to do anything. Not going to do a thing. You have to lift heavy and time under tension. Slow, go so slow that it's so slow you can't stand it. It's so slow. And you'll see that you'll feel it during and after because it's having some effect. And that's the same thing we want to do when we speak. If we speak too fast, nobody's going to hear us. It's not going to make an impact because people are going to miss things. When they miss things, they give up after a while. Remember, not everybody can hear supersonically. And I tell you, I don't know about you, but do young people today speak faster than they used to, than we did?
I think so.
So many times I have to ask them to, I mean, I'm talking real young now, like in their 20s. But I'm like, honey, could you slow down a minute? I mean, I'm not even getting what you're saying. I'm like, wow. And their customer service, they're trying to help me, you know, wow. So we have to make sure that we are not speaking so fast that people can't catch it. Now, I'm not saying slow-mo speaking, but just be aware of your tone of speaking. Sometimes you'll be speeding up, sometimes you won't. But just remember, slow down to speed up the impact. Write that down. Slow down to speed up the impact. There are going to be certain times in your presentation where you're going to want to go slow, and certain times where you're not only going to want to go slow, but you're going to want to use that big pause and just stop and look at your audience and not say a word. Use it, but use it intentionally. This is intentional speaking. So use it intentionally. Most filler words appear because speakers are trying to hurry. They're talking too fast. They're trying to get their word in. They're trying to get as much in. I've heard so many speakers go, well, this is an hour speech, but I'm going to get it in. I only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to talk real fast. Well, right there, you're going to lose everybody. Why? What, Dr. Renee, what is that person saying to the audience by
That
saying that ahead of time?
Yes, that they're not worthy of their time. They're not important enough. They don't mean that much. And I don't have time for you as a speaker. And I have to
Right.
go on to something else. I did see that real quickly. I did an event called Romance and Finance. There was 4 financial planners, and there was like 25 women who were looking for planners. When we started dinner, one person stayed who was a planner because the other 2 said, oh, I have to go home for family for dinner, and just excuses. The other planner, she got 6 clients. One was a 401k, one was a life insurance policy, whatever it was. And she got 6 people to have a one-on-one appointment. The other ones, they just had to leave. And I said, don't you want to have dinner? And they said, no, we have to get going. When you break bread with people, right, Arvee? Remember how you told us when you're a speaker, you have to connect with people. And
Right.
she ate with people. I mean, she just ordered a salad, but still, you just move the food around and talk, right? Didn't you tell us that? So
Yes, I did.
it's that connection. So there you
Yes, it is. Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Renee. So filler words appear because speakers rush and speak really fast. Younger people now we're seeing do a lot of that. But the 90% rule is normal conversational speed, because when you use normal conversational speed, you're going to automatically sound more confident, credible, and prepared, and like you know what you're doing. Oftentimes, what I wanted to say about that example, when you get up and you say you're going to talk real fast, it's a 30-minute, you only have 30 minutes and it's over an hour. All those things Dr. Renee said, but also, what is that saying? You're using a speech that is canned speech or whatever that you've used before. You have not customized a speech for that audience. So, right there, you're going to lose them. Whether we customize it for an audience or it's our signature talk, we don't tell anybody that. We make them all believe that we've customized it, and you should customize it a little bit. Because my speech, I mostly speak to business owners. But if I'm speaking to real estate professionals, I want to use their testimonials that I have about real estate. I don't want to use something about sales that I would in a chamber meeting. I want to make sure that I'm using their lingo. You know, they want to have more doors, or if it's commercial, they want to have clients. Salon hairdressers want people in the chair, more butts in the chairs, you know. So whatever their lingo is, you want to make sure that you put it in there and mix it in there. So you are going to do a certain amount of customization every time you give your signature talk based on the audience. If it's younger, you're going to talk about younger things, texting, and you better, you know, talk to your kids or your grandkids or your great grandkids, in my case, if you need some help on making it a little teenage friendly, so to speak. Okay, so enough said about that. Number 5, build awareness by doing your own filler word audit. Remember I said a little bit ago, when you become aware of it, then you will hear it every single time. Now, we know, for those of you that've been a Toastmaster, either now or in the past, they do make, that's one of the things they're very good at, is making you aware of your filler words. But they don't tell you, they just ding you and tell you afterwards that you've done so many filler words. But it is a way to become more aware, or you become aware because you watch somebody else. But I love becoming aware where somebody calls you on it the second you do it. That's really being aware. You can do that. How? By recording yourself. And then you record yourself, listen to yourself as if you're in front of yourself, watching yourself. You can record it on Zoom, on video, on your phone, or the old-fashioned tape recorders, whatever you want to use. But listen to it, and every time you hear yourself give a filler word, do something. You could say, "There it is," out loud, or you can hit yourself. What some people do, technique for changing things, is they have a rubber band on their wrist. I don't know if some of you've seen that, like it's a Harvecker thing, and you just boom. Yeah, it's something to make you aware, but you can do this yourself, however way you want to do it yourself. Make yourself aware. Don't beat yourself up, but you know, there it is, or oh, did it again, or oh, move marbles. I don't care. Whatever it is to make you aware, but it's your own little audit when you record yourself. And write down the numbers. Another time, go through it the second time, maybe, and write down the numbers of the ums, the ahs, any repeat phrases that you do. Maybe you do something like basically. Again, most people that do it just don't know they're doing it. I saw a girl one time that was speaking and she was itching her leg, scratching her leg. I guess she had an itch on it, but scratching her leg the entire presentation, unaware that she was even doing that physical, uh, act. She didn't know. So most people don't know, but you can change what you know, right? You can change what you're aware of. All right, number 6, and the last one. Number 6, the professional speaker's secret. The professional speaker's secret. All right. Now, remember the pause. That's the professional speaker's secret. They know to use it. A professional speaker never not uses the pause. You'll see, listen, I want you to listen to a next real professional. I'm not talking about, somebody, that just gets up at your networking meeting, your prayer meeting, or something like that. I'm talking about when you go out and see a paid speaker. Count their pauses and how they used them. That's powerful. They won't use them a lot. It won't be like 10 or 12, but it might be 3, 2, 3, depending on how long the speech is, right? Listen for that. There are people that those are speakers that are very comfortable letting the thought come. Very comfortable letting silence be on stage. Or when we feel a word, it's because we're uncomfortable with the silence. Be comfortable with it. Use it. And even when there's that deer in the headlight look, and you've seen people, right? That's not the pause I'm talking about. That's not the pause. But if that ever happens to you, and it only happens if you like bunk down and try to memorize a speech. But if that happens to you, it's easy to solve. All you do, this is an acting technique. I studied theater for many years. All you do is grab something and have physical contact with it. That's why I always recommend a glass of water in front of you. You can grab it, take a drink, either look at your notes or just put it aside. If it's if you have a lectern in front of you for whatever reason, grab it, make a joke. Just wow, is it hot in here? I mean, something to derail them until the spirit comes back in the body. Because what happens is the spirit leaves the body for a second. It happens to all of us. That's the deer in the headlights. It's not the it's not the pause. But it's not the pause that I want you to do because you're gone. The spirit is gone, but that could happen to you at some point, or you might see it happen to somebody. It doesn't happen to me anymore because I know how to get around it, and I could just make a joke, or just ask the audience, "Where was I? Where was I? Who remembers where I was?" Oh, great! I'm just making sure you pay attention, and just play it back. Give it back to your audience. Okay, let's see. Remember, the silence is where authority lives, confidence, and influence. Silence is where the authority, confidence, and influence live. And that's what you want to portray. All right. Now, the last thing I want to teach you, I'm seeing what time it is. The last thing I want to teach you is my flow method. Flow method. I'm all about formulas, all about systems. Well, this is a system. It's called flow method. And this is how to be fluent without filler words. Just think of this method. All right. So number one, it's gonna be an acronym, and the first one is F. And the F in flow stands for find your fillers. Find your fillers. That's what we've been talking about, right? So now I'm going to give you a system. So the first step in that system, the F is for find your fillers. You must be aware of where they are, what they are, when you tend to use them. And the only way you can do that is probably through recording yourself or having a mentor, someone like me, audit you. That's the only 2 ways that I can think of you being able to do it successfully. And with Zoom, it's so easy to record ourselves. Even if you had to do the speech and get the recording later and audit it after your speech, go ahead and do that. But I would much rather I mean, like an old speech now, since you are not aware of it, and find out that way, or just practice. Do it during a practice run. You'll probably be a little more aware of it. If you just brand new did one, you probably were so aware you won't do filler words. So it might be better if you had an older speech to go back to that one. All right. So ask yourself, do I say when I'm thinking? Do I say like when I'm nervous? That's what you're trying to get to. Is it when you're nervous? Is it when you're thinking? Do I repeat myself, or okay, or all right, or hear this? Now, I'm not talking about speakers that purposely use words to get audience's attention or reactions. T. Harv Eker's famous for true or true, and he says it a lot. High five, he says it a lot. Even those can be too much if they're overused. During one of my very early speeches, I had 7 ways that you could become a persuasive speaker. And after every single way, I had the audience do a high five. It was a corporate audience. I had to do a high five. It was too much. By the 7th time, they're all like laughing. And I think they were laughing at me. It was no longer effective. So you have to be aware of that as well. But for the most part, what are you repeating on accidentally? So exercise, go ahead and record yourself, and then give yourself a score. In other words, write down how many of these you're doing. The L in flow, let's go to the L now. Learn the power of the pause. I keep mentioning that for the last few weeks. The power of the pause, the power of the pause. It's so powerful. Think of it, remember, as the speaker's period. Boom. The way to say you're finished. The way to say, think about that. Okay? Remember, the pause emphasizes what you're trying to say. It gives that audience a chance to think, have it sink in. A few weeks ago, I did the story about the 3 gods, and how at the very end, I'm silent. I let it sink in. If I spoke right afterwards, it wouldn't sink in. If someone is laughing at your joke, be quiet. Don't step all over it with words. Let them have their moment of laughter. And always remember, the nervous speaker hates silence. So you'll be able to spot them on stage because they'll talk too fast and they're never going to take a breath and they'll never use the pause for any of those reasons, to let it sink in, to get our attention, any of that. All right. Now, the W in flow, did I do the O?
No,
Okay. I did the O.
you did not do I did not hear the O.
Oh, sorry. O is for organize your thoughts. Organize your thoughts. A clear mind creates a clear message. So many times I see speakers try to cram so much in their speech in their 30 minutes. Less is more. Less is more. Remember, we don't tell people how to do things in our speech. We only give them the W's. Remember the W's? What are the W's that we give them? Can anybody tell me?
What, when, why?
What? What, Katrina?
Well,
What, when, why?
why, when,
Right. What, when,
when,
why, and sometimes even where. But
Hmm.
what, when, why? Why should you be doing this? What are the benefits? The why is just the benefits. We talk about benefits all the time. This is why you should be doing it, because it's going to benefit you. You're going to be healthy. You're going to live longer. You're going to love deeper.
why,
You're going
when,
to stay married. That's the why, the benefits,
why, when,
right?
why,
You know what it is, you're defining it.
Why, when, where?
Right? What, when,
What, when, what?
right? When is now.
What,
You need
when,
to do
where?
it now,
What, when, where?
right?
When, where? Okay. What,
What, when,
when,
what?
where? What?
Not the hows. If
No.
you have to give a how
Why,
to
when,
wet
where,
the
what?
whistle a little bit,
Why, when, what?
give them an easy how, not something that's deep. So, like in Jackie's case, Jackie gives him a how. Jackie will say, eat every color of the rainbow.
Very easy. Why?
Dr. Renee, we can hear you, honey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had you on speaker. I'm typing. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's all good. It's all good. So Jackie talks about eating all the colors of the rainbow. That's a how, but it's a very simple how. It's not the deep, this is how you're going to get healthy, end all how. And you don't want to do that either. You don't want to give anybody your systems or your flows or like methods. I do it because you're all my students already. But I wouldn't give it to a stranger. They have to come and see me. They have to do coaching with me. They have to come to one of my events. And then I'll share. Same with you. Do not give it away for free. It's too much. Anyway, all right, so that's the O. Now the W is, and I love this, work the muscle of fluent speaking. What do you think the muscle is I'm talking about? Right? The vocal cords, the mouth, the chin, yeah, the chin. This is your muscle. And the muscle of thinking about your speech, practicing it. That's how you become more fluent. Fluency is a skill developed through repetition. Fluency is a skill developed through repetition. Continually practicing, continually speaking, continually thinking about it. How do dancers get good? They practice. Piano, musicians, all of that, they practice. And not only practice it physically, but they're practicing it in their mind. They're visualizing it. It's constant. It's not like, oh, got to get up and do a speech now, brush off some old thing. No, they think about it. I know whenever I have a speech, whatever day it is, I'm thinking about it from that day I get that speech until I step on stage. Developing it in my mind, taking notes. A lot of times the mind's so powerful, and then I'm doing something that, oh yeah, this would be good in that speech, and I jot it down on it. Right, Jackie, you get this too? Use that. Be ready for it. Have a sticky note with you at all times. All right, so work that muscle. Speak. Try to and do this. Like if you do have a lot of filler words, you can even practice. Take your speech that your signature talk, and break it down into the blocks we talked about. So the first block being through your story, and just work on that and record it and see if you have any filler words. Where would the filler words come in? A couple of places, because you're not going to memorize them. And that might be with the thank you. Now, it's not going to be the attention grabber because that's one or two sentences and you're going to have that down and memorized. So you'll never have to worry about filler words there. And then the welcome. The welcome's very clear. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about boom. It's your title, right? You know that. But where it creeps in is when you say thank you because you want that to be authentic, meaning you haven't memorized it. So that's where they could creep in. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I know there was a game on, but thank you for being. Watch it. You can have that kind of memorized as well. What a great, just do it a few hours before, but practice that one line. Right? I know it's a rainy night, but you've all come out. Let's give yourself a big hand for that. You could do that on your drive there. So be careful of that. That's one pothole you could fall in. And the other one is your story. Because sometimes our story changes. And sometimes we want to ad lib it a little bit more than meaning it's not how we practiced it. Be careful because that's that's a manhole where this filler words could slip in unintentionally. So do it like you practiced it. But anyway, this is this 5-minute practice that I'm talking about. Do it in blocks. So do that. Make sure that there's no filler words that slip in there. That's how you can get rid of that. You can even also practice pausing. If you're not a natural pauser, if you go, oh wow, Arvee, I don't think I've ever paused during my speech. Let's start adding those in your rehearsals and your practice. Start pausing after every key point you make. Anything you feel that's profound or key, pause. Let it sink in. If you feel like you have too much, you can always back up and take them out. All right. Again, record and review. Record and review. All right. That is our lesson for today. So you now have the 6 steps to get rid of filler words, and you also have a system, the flow method, by which you can eliminate the filler words and put in your powerful pauses. So before we end, we have just a few minutes. Are there any questions about any of that you would like to share?
I missed number 5. I dropped my pen and it went all the way underneath the desk.
Oh no. Okay, number 5.
All I had was record yourself, check for filler words. Is there something more to that?
Yeah, build awareness, the filler word audit. So recording yourself is part of the audit. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's part of the audit. Okay, so it's record yourself and listen. It's 2 steps. Record yourself and then listen and write down check mark or number the number of times you say ah, and then any repeated words like basically or okay or all right. Maybe you don't. You've spoke so much. You're such a professional, Jackie, that I don't remember hearing any. But I will audit you next Tuesday.
I knew that was coming.
Jackie's going to speak at our Christian business meeting next.
It's called Brave New Jackie.
Yeah. So Katrina, I hope you're going to be there. Katrina's a member. She lives close by. So I hope you're going to be there.
I will try. I have my other meeting.
Oh, you have that other meeting. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay. Well, all right. Worth a try. Any other questions before we?
Yes. And I missed number 4, or don't have it.
Number
Yeah.
2?
4.
Number 4. Number 4 is slow down. Slow down to speed up your impact. Remember time on tension example?
Oh.
Slow down. I was in a networking meeting and the theme for the year one time, it might not make sense, but it was like slow down in terms of your business, slow down to go forward. Slow down to go move ahead. I think she said, slow down to move ahead. And it's like, what? What? Well, sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes we're running so fast in our business, doing so many things that we're not really getting traction, just like the muscle example.
Okay.
Yeah. Slow down to go forward, slow down. Yeah. So same here. Slow down to make that impact. That's number 4.
Okay.
Good question. Anybody else?
Well, just to make a comment, what you said when you come up with a powerful statement, instead of what I used to before I became a part of this group is I would say something and it was a powerful statement, then I would just rattle on something else. So what I really got from this was a big takeaway is when you say something powerful, just pause and be quiet.
And let them take it in, absorb it.
Yeah, I had a client today, a new client, and I have my notes. I was trying to figure out what I said was so powerful, and I could see on their face they just lit up. And normally I would keep going, so I just paused and let them think about it, and even said it again. And because I could see them, they were just like went crazy for what I said, but I paused and just let them take it in. So that is really powerful. I would not have done that prior. I would have just kept on talking.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mhm.
Now, Ramona, we don't see you except for sideways. What's going on, girl?
No, it's just that I have my phone plugged in, so it doesn't really stand up straight. So I leaned it over so that it wouldn't fall over. So yeah,
Okay.
get a sideways view of me because my phone, is plugged in.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions before we end our call tonight?
That was really good, Arvee. I learned a lot. My brain is a little sore, but
Good.
it was
And
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
welcome
so much,
back.
Arvee. This was outstanding. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, Jackie's just been on vacation. You want to tell a little bit about where
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been?
Yay.
I'm going to stop the recording real quick. Hold on just a second. All right, let me end the call. All right, that is our call for today. Remember to get out and speak, and when you do, to always speak with passion. Bye, everyone.
Hello. Yeah, we had a wonderful trip. We started